You know, everybody out here talking about what makes a man fall for a woman. Folks got lists, books, podcasts talking about looks, style, curves, lashes, you name it. And don't get me wrong, ain't nobody mad at a good outfit and a beautiful smile, but if you really want to awaken desire in a man, the kind that makes him lean in and never want to let go, you gotta start with his mind. That's the first spot, baby, the mind. Touch his thoughts before you ever try to touch his body. See, here's the thing. A man wakes up every day fighting battles you may never see. Pressure to provide, pressure to prove himself, pressure to win, to lead, to not mess it all up. And while the world is throwing punches, what he needs is someone who sees him deeper than the surface. Someone who can speak into his purpose, not just his pockets. That's the woman he'll desire. That's the woman who becomes unforgettable. You want to touch his mind, show him you see more in him than what he's already accomplished. When he talks about that business idea, don't roll your eyes, ask him how you can help. When he says he's tired, don't just say you always tired. Look him in the eye and say, I see you. I see how hard you're trying, and I believe in what you're building. Phew, you say that to a man, that right there will light him up. That touches a place no one else reaches. Let me tell you something. A man's desire ain't just about physical attraction. That fades, baby. Time handles that. But a man craves that mental connection with a woman who gets him, who can challenge him without cutting him down, who knows how to stroke his ego without becoming small herself. A woman who's got her own mind but still makes space for his. That's the woman that drives him wild. Now don't confuse this with manipulation. I'm not talking about playing mind games or acting like you support him just to get something. No, this ain't about pretending. This is about truly seeing a man beyond his swag, beyond his job, beyond the car he drives or the jokes he cracks when he's hurting inside. It's about tuning into who he really is and speaking life into that version of him. That's how you awaken something deeper. That's how you touch his mind, because let me be real, every man has doubts, even the loud ones, the tough ones, the smooth ones. All of them got that voice that whispers, you're not enough. So when a woman walks in and says, you are more than enough, and actually means it, Lord have mercy, that's powerful, that's intimacy, that's desire born not from lust, but from alignment. And listen, you can't do this if you haven't dealt with your own negative feelings. If you're still walking around with hurt, bitterness, resentment from the last dude who did you wrong, that energy gonna come out whether you mean for it to or not. You can't touch his mind if yours is still cloudy. You gotta do the work on you first. Heal that pain, mute that inner critic, replace it with love, with strength, with grace. Because when you show up whole, when you speak with clarity, when you love with intention, that's a woman who's unforgettable. You want to stand out, be the piece he can't find anywhere else, be the voice that reminds him who he is when he forgets, be the thought that makes him smile in the middle of a stressful day. Touch his mind, and baby, the rest of him will follow. You awaken desire not by trying to be someone else, but by reaching a place in him nobody else took the time to explore. That's not magic. That's not manipulation. That's wisdom. That's presence. That's real womanhood. And once you learn how to speak to a man's mind, you'll stop chasing. Because the man who feels seen, heard, and understood by you, he ain't going nowhere. Asterisk, asterisk, that's where desire begins. Asterisk, asterisk, now let's talk about the second spot. The ears, the ears, that might sound simple, but trust me, if you can touch a man through his ears, you can get to his heart. Words, baby, words are powerful. They build kings or break 'em, and a woman who knows how to speak the right words into a man, that woman becomes unforgettable. See, most people don't understand the weight of what they say. You think he don't care. You think he's not listening. He hears every word, especially the ones you say when you mad, frustrated, or disappointed. You want to awaken real desire in a man, you got to make your voice his peace, not his problem. Your words got to sound like comfort, not combat. I'm not saying don't speak your mind. Absolutely speak your truth, but do it with grace. Do it in a way that uplifts, not belittles. A man don't need to be talked to like he's one of your kids or your ex that messed up. He needs to be spoken to like he matters. You gotta learn how to correct without cutting. How to express yourself without assassinating his character, because let me tell you, every man has a memory of a voice that tore him down, might have been a teacher, a parent, a boss, or a past relationship. And if you start sounding like that same voice, he'll shut down, he'll withdraw. He might still be there physically, but mentally, emotionally, he gone. On the flip side, you start speaking life into that man. You say, I see you trying. I appreciate you. I know it's not perfect, but I respect the effort. Watch how he straightens up. Watch how he starts walking taller. You don't need a script. You don't need to be a poet. Just be real, be kind, be intentional. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is, I'm proud of you, or thank you for being consistent, or even just, I trust you. Few. Those words hit different, because that's what he wants. He wants to feel trusted, respected, affirmed, and when you feed his ears with that, it stirs up something deep. That's not just desire, that's emotional connection. That's soul-level stuff. Now, I'm not saying you gotta hold back when something's bothering you. No, this ain't about being quiet or submissive. This is about timing, tone, and intent. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be heard? Because sometimes we come in hot, ready to prove a point, and don't even realize we're tearing down the very man we say we love. You want to touch his ears, learn to speak with purpose, not just passion. And this goes both ways. Yeah, you deserve to be spoken to with love too. This ain't about coddling a man while you walk on eggshells. But when you lead with love, you raise the standard. When your words speak power and peace, a real man will rise to match that. You're teaching him how to speak back to you just by the way you speak to him. Let me drop something on you. You don't win a man's respect by yelling louder. You win it by making him feel safe enough to listen. Your voice should remind him of home, not war. Because if all he hears from you is criticism, comparison, or complaints, that desire you're trying to spark, it fades fast. But if what he hears is encouragement, support, and that soft strength only a woman can give, he'll crave your words like air. And I get it. Sometimes it's hard to be soft when life's been hard. Maybe you've had to be tough. Maybe you've been let down so many times that softness feels like weakness. But hear me, there is strength in softness, real strength. And when you can speak power without raising your voice, when you can correct with love, when your words sound like music in the middle of a mess. Baby, that's how you become unforgettable. Desire starts in the ears. Long before the body ever responds, the heart listens, the soul listens. And when you touch a man's ears with words that honor him, support him, and challenge him with grace, he don't just want you. He respects you, he needs you, and he desires you in a way that's rare. Asterisk, asterisk, that's how you make him listen with his heart. Asterisk, asterisk, now let's get into something a lot of people overlook, but it matters a lot. I'm talking about the eyes. That third spot, you want to awaken desire in a man, let him asterisk see asterisk confidence. I'm not talking about looking cute for Instagram or dressing up so you can walk past him hoping he notices. I'm talking about the kind of confidence that shows up before you even speak a word. That quiet, unshakable kind of energy that walks in the room before you do. That's what catches a man's eye. That's what holds his attention. See, there's a difference between looking good and asterisk being seen. Asterisk, a woman who truly carries herself with confidence doesn't need to chase validation. She asterisk is asterisk the validation. When you walk with purpose, with poise, with that I know who I am type of energy, men notice. And not just the shallow ones looking for a good time. I'm talking about real men, men who are looking for a partner, not a project, because here's the truth, men are visual, yes, but we're not stupid. We see past the hair and the heels. We see how you hold yourself. Are your shoulders back? Are your eyes locked in with presence, or are they darting around looking for approval? Confidence shows, it shines. And when a woman walks into a room fully aware of her worth, not arrogant, not loud, just rooted, that's magnetic. Let me break this down even further. A man desires a woman who believes in herself, because if you don't believe in you, how are you supposed to believe in him? If your reflection is built on insecurity and fear, that energy carries over into how you love, how you talk, how you trust. But when you've done that inner work, when you've faced your own doubts and said, "Nah, I'm still enough," that radiates. You don't have to prove anything, you just are. Confidence is what turns heads, but character is what keeps attention. When you've got both, game over. And confidence ain't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being solid, steady, and clear on who you are, even when nobody's clapping for you. A man sees that, and something inside him shifts. He desires a woman he can admire, not just one he can touch. A woman who inspires him to level up, simply because she's already standing tall on her own. And don't think confidence is only about physical appearance. Some of the most powerful women I've ever seen didn't fit society's little beauty box. But their energy, few, unmatched. They had presence. They knew they belonged. They weren't trying to shrink themselves, apologize for being too much, or pretend to be less than what they were. That's what draws a man in. That's what he remembers, because let's be real, anybody can look good for a moment. But a confident woman, she leaves an imprint. He's thinking about her long after she leaves the room, not because she was the loudest, but because her presence spoke louder than words ever could. And I know some of y'all listening might be thinking, well, I don't always feel confident. I hear you, I get that. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest. It's about showing up even when you feel scared and saying, I still deserve to be here. It's about looking in the mirror, flaws and all, and saying, I'm still valuable. You practice that kind of thinking every day. Watch how your energy changes. Watch how the room starts to respond to you differently. And here's something else: confidence allows you to receive love without suspicion. Some of y'all don't trust a man's compliments because you don't even believe them yourself. He tells you you're beautiful, you roll your eyes. He tells you he's proud of you, you brush it off. But when you're confident, you don't just hear the words, you receive them. You let yourself be loved because you already know you're lovable. A confident woman doesn't beg for attention. She commands it. She doesn't chase desire. She becomes the desire, not because of what she wears or how she poses, but because of how she carries her truth, how she respects herself, and how she shows up whole. And when a man sees that, when he sees confidence in your eyes, in your walk, in your energy, that's not just attractive, that's unforgettable. That's what draws him in on a deeper level, because it tells him, this woman ain't here to be chosen, she's already chosen herself. That's what makes him want to see more. Now let's bring it all home with this one, because it's the deepest spot you can touch in a man, and the one most folks miss completely. I'm talking about the soul. You want to awaken desire in a man, you gotta go past his body, past his mind, even past his heart. You gotta touch his soul, and let me tell you what that means. You become his peace. I ain't talking about being perfect. I ain't talking about never having an attitude or never catching an emotional day. That's human. But what I am saying is this: when a man sees you as a safe space, when he can be vulnerable around you without feeling weak, when he can take off the armor he wears all day for the world and not get wounded by you, that's soul-level connection. That's not just love. That's not just attraction. That's desire rooted in trust, and baby, that's rare. Men don't say it often, but they crave peace, not just silence. Not just someone who's quiet or goes along with everything. No real peace, emotional safety. A woman who doesn't use his fears against him. A woman who listens not to reply, but to understand. A woman who, when life is throwing everything at him, becomes the calm in the storm, not another wave crashing on him. Let me break it down like this. A man will deal with a lot. He'll deal with pressure, with risk, with failure, with expectations. But what he won't stay with for long is chaos. He might play around with it. He might entertain it for a while, but when it comes to who he builds with, who he invests in, who he chooses to protect and provide for, that's the one who brings him peace. That's the one who feeds his soul. Now, I'm not saying you need to carry his pain. No, ma'am. You are not his therapist, and he needs to do his own healing. But what you can do is create a space where he doesn't have to hide, where he doesn't have to act tough 24/7. Because sometimes even the strongest man wants to be held without words. Sometimes he needs someone who'll say, "You ain't gotta be perfect for me to be proud of you." You do that for a man. You don't just awaken desire. You awaken loyalty. You awaken protection. You awaken that part of him that says, "I found something I can't afford to lose." But here's the catch. You can't be his peace if you're at war with yourself. You can't offer him emotional safety if you haven't dealt with your own wounds. Some of us try to love people while we're still bleeding, and we wonder why it gets messy. You want to touch a man's soul. Start by healing your own. Start by learning how to sit with your own emotions, how to forgive your own past, how to speak to yourself with the same grace you want to offer him. Because when you show up full, not perfect, just full, you shift everything. You become the kind of woman he feels. The kind that makes him take a deep breath and say, "Man, I can finally relax." That don't mean there won't be arguments. That don't mean you don't have high standards. But your energy ain't heavy. Your presence don't drain him. It fuels him. And that right there, that's soul work. That's grown woman intimacy. And let me tell you something else. When you touch a man's soul, you ain't gotta beg for effort. You ain't gotta ask twice for respect. A man who feels emotionally safe with you will protect you like his future depends on it, because in his heart it does. He ain't just staying for the good times. He's staying because you saw him when he was quiet, when he was unsure, when he was afraid. And you didn't flinch. You stayed soft. You stayed present. That's where the real connection lives. Not in how you impress him, but in how you hold him when he's not trying to impress you. And don't get it twisted. This ain't about catering to a man's every need. This is about reciprocity. This is about being so in tune with yourself that your love becomes a safe place for the right person to land. Touch his soul and he'll crave you in ways words can't explain, because you didn't just show up for the good times. You showed up for him. That's the kind of desire that never fades.